All right. Who we got here? See if anybody hops on here. The other feed died for some reason, so I hope you guys see this. Let's give it a second here. Aaron, what's up, buddy? Sorry about that. The feed something happened with my other feed, so I had to re-upload the whole thing. Let's see if everybody else gets on here. All right, welcome back, man. Hopefully Daily Dose and Laurie and the rest of the gang. We had a boatload of people on here. And let's give it a minute here. Let's give it a minute. Laurie, welcome back. Jeffrey, welcome back. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. My feed, I had to re-upload a new feed. There was a little bit of a buffering issue. Jace, what's happening? Daily, there you go. There we go. Welcome back, guys. Sorry about that. I do. Instagram, Jeffrey, diehard Yankee fan 447. And yeah, well, sorry, my apologies on that, but let's get back to it. So we're plotting the Yankees offseason, right? And I did my video this morning on kind of the first order of business, in my opinion, because the fact of the matter is, it's going to be a long, I think it's going to be a long road back, and it's not. We can't have it all happen this offseason. It's going to take multiple moves. There's no magic move. There's no magic this Yankees get this. Yankees just can't do everything back. Word life, welcome back, man. And so it's going to take a while to get the Yankees back on track long term. And that's why, if you haven't seen the video yet, I go take a look at it, and I'd be calling THEO EPSTEIN immediately to gauge his interest. And now that's going to take potentially Hal actually showing that he's serious about winning. And because the fact is, I mean, Brian Cashman's had a successful run, but this is not 1998 Brian Cashman or 2009 Brian Cashman. That way is not going to win today, right? It's not going to win today. And yeah, exactly, Aaron. The Dodgers did win the World Series, and they added big pieces. And this is what I'm talking about. And they're way over the threshold too, so they're going to pay again. But and I understand, Hal's logic about wanting to get under the $210 million threshold. But the difference between him and like some of these other folks, to me, when THEO EPSTEIN was running the Red Sox, it was clear that his mission was to win championships and set up to win multiple. And when he took over the Cubs, the mission was clear. I never feel that way with Hal Steinbrenner. But you know why? Because we never hear from the guy. We never hear from Brian Cashman either. So we don't really know if they're committed to winning or not. And that's so frustrating. Daily Dose, you have over 1,000 words ready to be put in the chat. All right, stand by for a minute, and you can put it in, man. We'll definitely get to it. But like Patrick just said too, my fear is that Cashman seems like a part of this little fraternity of boys, and I don't think they're going to get rid of him or move on from him, because to bring in somebody like THEO EPSTEIN, there's no guarantee that he's even interested. He did turn down the Mets the other day. Now, but the Mets are not the Yankees, okay? And but until they actually reach out to him and ask, anything's possible. But that would also require them moving on from Brian Cashman, and it's I'm highly skeptical that's going to happen. But it's what I would do. And I think if anybody, because you're going to have to wind up replacing him with somebody at his level or even higher, and there's not even a handful of people that have Cashman's credentials right now as a GM and a VP. So that's the only, he's the only guy in my eyes that I could see actually happen. And obviously, you'd have to give him full carte blanche to do things. Hal can't be getting in the way and stuff like that. So that's something he's going to have to accept, because this is THEO EPSTEIN, man, and he can't step in the way. And I think he's gonna want a full commitment. I want to do this, and I want to do this. I want to run this, and I can't get in the way. This is the mission, and this is their 5-year mission to get the Yankees back on a championship trajectory and stuff. Even with the high payroll, and I could see him going under or over. And THEO EPSTEIN made some bold moves with the Red Sox and made some bold moves with the Cubs, but he brought championships there, and he kind of set them up on a pretty successful trajectory long term as well before he moved on. And he's a big MLB executive now. Now, that's not to take away from Cashman. Cashman's had some success with the Yankees, but again, 2021 is different than 2009. It's much different than 2000 and 1999 and 1998. So this team is different. Those teams had just absolute gamers, better athletes, relentless lineup, people whose heads were always in the game. And these are things that we don't have now. And these are things that I think that THEO Epstein would be able to get back here. So that'd be my first order of business. So, I mean, what do you folks think? Like, what do you, what's your first order of business? Who would you replace Cashman with if you would replace him? And Boone, who would you replace Boone with? And Daly, shoot, man. Let's see your proposal. Let's get it out here, baby. Let's see what we got. But, and I agree, Peppy. I mean, until Cashman's gone, there's not going to be much structural change. And again, that's going to it's a bitter pill for Hal to swallow, but it's got to happen, unfortunately. First, they fire Marcus Thames and Phil Nevin. Yes, 100%. And even though Nevin is kind of, fighting back and stuff, that call should have cost him his job here. And Thames, the Yankees offense is just way too just one-sided, way too unprepared, way too unversatile. And even though Cashman brought in a couple lefty guys, I think he would have been better off bringing in an Adam Frazier. He would have been better off bringing in some other folks. I mean, as much as I like Rizzo and Gallo, I just don't think it was the right fit overall to put them on, in better footing. Dave Robinson, interesting. All right, so first you would bring in Carlos Rodon and Freddie Freeman. New pitcher and new first baseman via free agency. The only way I see this team winning the championship is a repeat of the 20. Yeah, I think so too. And again, I think it's going to take more than one significant offseason to get them back on track, but I can see them making significant strides with a big offseason this year because the teams are so different now. Baseball's so different. But it's a good start, Daly. Replace Boone with either Showalter or Beltran. Beltran is intriguing, but he has a stink of that cheating scandal on him, so I'm not exactly sure they would reach out to him again. But again, I could be wrong. Showalter, again, he's that guy that's, and I said this too. I think it's a little bit past due for him, but he could work. I mean, they need a manager more than they need a buddy and more than a friend. So I think he would be much more of a disciplinarian, and I would get, like the Yankees had like Larry Boa on the bench, like even coaches that would get in these players' faces and light a fire under the butts. They don't have that either. So I think it's, a foundational issue, but interesting. Might even go further than cash. Yeah, it's got to go further. Yankees need to go all out. I agree. Pitching has been a weakness for a while. Me, Aaron, if I get offered the job, I'm gonna have to bring some of you with me as my advisor. So I'm gonna have to put this team on. We'll have to resurrect this thing, man. I appreciate that. Billy Beane's an intriguing possibility too. He's an intriguing possibility as potentially GM. Or maybe somebody that can even work with Cashman if they want to keep Cashman or something like that. But to me, I think THEO Epstein's the right guy to steer the ship back in the right direction. Force Nick Nelson. Yeah, this is what I mean. Lack of pitching depth, and lack of performance would put too much of the load on Garrett Cole. And even though he had a rough finish to the year, he had a great year. Probably run up to the Cy Young Award, so you can't take that away from him. And not enough pitching depth. We don't know what happened with Davy Garcia, really. I mean, there's some mechanical issues, like you said, Daly, but we don't know if he's going to be back either. So there's a lot of things that the Yankees have to do. Rodon's a good fit too. Rodon is a good fit, Daly. 132 innings, 237, 260. Yeah, I mean, it's solid. I mean, if you can get Robbie Ray and Carlos Rodon, I would be all over that. I'd be all over that. And Pappy, yeah, exactly. An owner that cares would be nice. At least an owner that comes and speaks every now and then, that makes a presence every now and then. I don't remember the last time I saw Hal Steinbrenner. And this is what I mean. I feel like he's running a corporation and he's just trying to milk as much profit and productivity out of him as possible. And then winning is just secondary. And I don't like feeling that way, particularly with the Yankees. That's not the Yankees, man. It's just not. Unfortunately, analytics team like the Dodgers and mock their success because their approach isn't working. Yeah, I mean, Dodgers are analytics, but they also have the most talented roster in baseball. So that's the balance with analytics. And like Scherzer, you don't really need analytics with Scherzer. Scherzer's a gamer. He's one of the most intense pitcher in baseball. So he to me is not an analytics. He's a monster. He's an absolute beast. Yeah, exactly. Daily, exactly. It wasn't affected by, the sticky substance crackdown. And yeah, I get it. And some pitchers were for temporarily, and some pitchers were not. Cole took a few games to adapt, but he got back on track and he had a really good year. Trevor Story is a possibility for shortstop too. Honestly, I think the Yankees could use changes at shortstop, first base, obviously. I don't know if third base maybe, but I'm fine if Gio stays. Outfield, catcher, they need to make multiple moves. But again, I don't know. I don't think it'll happen all this offseason. It's going to be multiple off seasons to get them really back on track with infusing some of their young guys, a combination of new guys and young guys as well to make this a much more structurally sound team. Prioritize upgrading the offense and making it more diverse, speed. The fact that, and I said this the other day, the fact that Greg Allen and Tyler Wade, their two best base runners, didn't get in the game is beyond me. Okay, and I'm glad Tim LeCastro is going to come back. He was one of the fastest guys in baseball as well, before his ACL, so he'll be back from the spring training as well. So, I'd hope to see Greg Allen, hope to see Tyler Wade. So the Yankees will have an infusion of athleticism there. And as much as I like Brett Gardner, I would have personally made him the captain this past year in 2021. I don't see him coming back, but I do. If he doesn't come back, I obviously thank him and really wish him well, and I hope he, maybe he comes back as an instructor or something. But to me, he was a great Yankee for 15 years, one way or another. But if he comes back, okay. But it's just as long as he's not blocking these young kids, because I think at this point, Clint Frazier needs to go somewhere else. So does Miguel Andujar. Yankees just kind of did not do right by these guys. Did not, unfortunately. So, and I hate seeing it because they were talented kids, man, really talented kids. But they're young and they have team control, so they might be able to get something. But there's only probably two players that they could trade right now that they'll get a haul for, and Judge is one of them. But let's see, Cashman will be unemployed for 2 seconds. Yeah, exactly. If Cashman gets moved on from, he'll get picked up like this. So the Mets will go after him. They'll offer him whatever he wants, and don't be surprised if he goes to the Mets. So, and that's what I mean. He's good, but I don't think he's right for the Yankees anymore at this point. So, but again, if you're going to replace him, it's got to be by somebody like THEO EPSTEIN or somebody of that stature. Otherwise, you got to stay with him. So he's not going to just replace him with just some Joe Schmo at GM. That's my opinion, but Billy Beane might be a good fit, but then Cashman could be the VP of baseball operations, but you let Billy Beane be a GM. But personally, it's THEO EPSTEIN's the guy to go after for me. It's exactly an elite level. Getting Rodon would also allow Nestor and Michael King to both stay in the bullpen as long relief pitchers. Yeah, that deepens the bullpen exactly. Contact hitters exactly, Lori. Yeah, Joey Gallo. It just doesn't seem like he's the right fit here. He's all over the place, unfortunately, and way inconsistent. So, but if he stays, I hope he plays well enough to at least establish value to be moved at the deadline. But this is what the thing, and this is what I think can't say about the Yankees. They wait until the end of the trading deadline to move people. They don't move people in April or May, like other teams. This is what I mean by striking first. If you see a deal and it presents itself, go for the deal. Don't wait until the deadline. Go for the deal. Do it during spring training. These are opportunities that the Yankees could take advantage of that they don't. And I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense. Give me your second move, Daly. Let's go. Give it to us. DJ might. Well, it depends. DJ might be the option Thomas at first base because of his becoming less athletic and if they move on. But, if Rizzo stays, he's got championship pedigree and he's got great intangibles, but he and Freddie Freeman are going to cost a significant amount of money. So that's my only concern with both of them is the cost. You have DJ here already, so if they do keep him, they could move him to first. But I don't really know exactly what they're going to do for first base. It's going to be an intriguing offseason. I don't see Luke Voigt coming back. Chris Taylor, the guy that just hit a walk-off for the Dodgers to put them in the NLDS. Yeah, I like him. I like him. He's got fire. He's a gamer too. So Beltran said he's only going to. If he goes to the Mets, Beltran, I wish him well. Beltran. Yeah, Dave, maybe, yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. Everyone needs to go. Yeah, I mean, international, domestic. I mean, so I think, Laurie, I'm with you. I think they need to replace a lot of coaches and player development people, a lot of folks, because again, it's structurally just deficient up and down the line. And I think they need to really, really boost those areas in order to become better prepared, because this team was not as prepared as the Red Sox were. And you could see that the staff didn't have him prepared, the coaches didn't have him prepared. And a guy like Epstein is ready. He has a plan. And I think he would really, really put him on solid footing after one or two off seasons. Marcel, you'd be content with a Cole, Tyon, Cortez, Montgomery, Luis Hill. Yeah, I mean, Luis Hill, and he's still young, Marcel. I think he's 20 or 21 maybe. So, we still need depth beyond him. We do. I mean, I think it's a good idea to bring in two starters either way. And then, because there's guys that always go down. Like this year we had, and Tyon went down, and Cole went down for COVID. And, we had Nestor go down for COVID. We had, Tyon went down a little bit. And 3 or 4 guys in the rotation went down. So that's where we need that depth to come in without having to really, really rely on the relievers as much. So, but I get what you're saying, man. Any pitchers we get, yeah, obviously Sheepdog, yeah, absolutely. We need offense. We need a balance of offense and defense, versatility, pitching. We need it across the board. Like I keep saying, guys like Keita Marte, I keep saying guys like Brian Reynolds, like Adam Frazier would have been a great fit last year. I don't know why the hell he went to the Padres at the deadline, but they jumped on him early. He just wasn't a fit. I think he would have been a better fit here, but it is what it is now. So Wells won't come up. Yeah, Austin Wells. Yeah, I would agree. He won't be up until probably 2023, and I feel the same way about Volpe, with an exception if he really, really plays well, he might come up. Zach Gallen from the Diamondbacks, young, talented pitcher as well. I think he's an option too. That's where I would try to go for a blockbuster with Zach Gallen and Keita Marte. That would be a monster trade. It would address 2 things at once. That's my end. I think it's worth looking into, Thomas. I really do. So, Buster Posey, catcher, Seager at short, and Rodon, Race in the guard, Verlander, or Stroman for a rotation piece. It's possible. Posey's a little bit older than Sanchez, but I mean he's better than Sanchez still. I mean Sanchez has that power potential, but he's not the offensive. Offensive defensive combo catcher that a Buster Posey is, and Buster Posey is kind of an all-timer. And any of these guys, I mean, Syndergaard's worth a shot, maybe. Verlander's worth a shot. I mean, those guys to me on moderate salaries with lots of incentives. Stroman, maybe. Of those guys, Rodon and Red would be my first 2 to go after Lorenzo. Wallace does have decent offense. Yeah, I mean, they're not sure what position he's going to stay at, Sheepdog. But I like his bat. He's got a good bat. Got good intangibles too. How much trade value do I think Judge has lost in the time from the deadline tonight? I think his trade value has increased. Word lifer. Increase because he's been clutch. He's hit the cover off the ball. So I think you get an absolute haul if you move Aaron Judge. Feels like the difference between what the White Sox got for sale. Yeah, I mean, White Sox got Moncada. He's turned into a mainstay, their regular piece now. And they got a couple other pieces too. The White Sox got more for sale than the Indians got for Lindor. There's no doubt about it. But they took a few years to kind of develop and blossom those pieces. So that's the thing. Like, for somebody like Judge, you have to get an immediate piece and some long-term pieces. Both of them have to, I think, happen, in my opinion. So Steve, exactly. Steve Cohen. Like, it's nice. It's refreshing to see a New York sports owner that's vocal and just kind of you see him at the games. You see a presence that's not a total bonehead like Dolan from the Knicks, and like. It's refreshing to see, and I think he's going to be aggressive this offseason too. Steve Cohen. He's going to continue being aggressive until the Mets get a title. I think Trevor Story is definitely a possibility too. He's kind of my underrated guy for a potential shortstop if they decide to invest that much in shortstop. So, and he's probably the only guy I think they could probably get on a short-term deal that doesn't block an Oswald Peraza or any of these guys in Anthony Volpe and whatnot. But Sheepdog, I see Buster Posey staying in San Francisco, but crazy things have happened. But yeah, Dodgers do spend to correct mistakes, and they add depth, crazy depth, and they're in a much better position than the Yankees are right now. That's for sure. Dave Robinson, I'm going to look into him. That's an intriguing option, Thomas. Torn between Trevor Story and Marcus Simeone. Well, Trevor Story, I think, is slightly younger. I think he'll cost slightly less, but either one of them would be a nice fit. Trevor Story would look good in pinstripe. Simeone would look good just to take him away from freaking Toronto. And that would be taken away from an AL East rival. That would be nice. Cole needs a co-ace. Yes, he does, Thomas. A co-star. I would give him two of them. Just line up that rotation at the top, man. Have a wrecking crew at top of good arms, man. Alan, analytics. Yeah, getting the right data and how you interpret, and things change on it too. Like analytics are not always the most reliable thing. It's baseball experience, instincts, and other things too, and common sense. So it's a combination of things. To me, that I don't think using one at the expense of others is a good idea, and vice versa. So, but it's important. It is important. It tells people. It tells you a lot. Mad Max in the Bronx. Yeah, I think he'll be locked up. Maybe it would be crazy in the Bronx to have him, but I think the Dodgers are going to extend him because they essentially said that too. He won't waive his no trade clause unless he's negotiating an extension. So my guess is the Dodgers keep him probably for 2 years and $80 million or something like that. It's going to be big money. I get it, Sheepdog. I would let Volpe start in spring training. He's going to start in AAA, see how well he does, and if he's playing well at AAA, I'd call him up early in the season. I wouldn't wait. If he's transitioning and adjusting well, I would do it. So we do need to fix the outfield. I think it's important to give Judge and Stanton regular rest days while playing them in the outfield as well. Rest, DH, outfield. Rest, DH, outfield. And just need more. Keitel Marte looks perfect. Brian Reynolds looks perfect. Even guys like Tyler O'Neill from the Cardinals, they would look really, really good here. They really would. Syndergaard, I can probably see staying, probably getting a qualifying offer from the Mets. And then Post, I could see getting the same thing. And keep in mind too, the more every time the Yankees sign a guy that has a qualifying offer, they have to give up a high draft pick. So and that's the other part of this that is not only intriguing but like frustrating too. And I think that's something they're talking about in the CBA as well. So I'm really curious to see what happens in the CBA. It expires December 2nd, so I'm really, really curious. Wilson Contreras, to me, Wilson Contreras is a logical fit here. He's got one more year, just like Sanchez does with the Cubs, but he's a better defensive game caller. He's a decent offensive player too. So to me, he's an upgrade from Gary Sanchez. As much as I like Sanchez's power potential, he's too inconsistent, too many lapses, and he's one of these guys that, like Gleyber Torres, I feel like is not always mentally in the game. We need guys that are locked in mentally, and it shows on a regular basis. And I don't see it from either one of those guys on a consistent basis, and that's a problem. That is a problem, But yeah, any of these free agents, Aaron, they're going to be locked up for quite a while. So we have Peraza and Volpe coming up. Yeah, exactly. That's why in my opinion, any big investment to me should come in the pitching side or first base if you make a major trade. But then and that's why I say it's a multiple year thing because I don't see them having another offseason like they did in 2009. I wish they would, but I hope they prove me wrong. I really do. DJ Stanton and Judge and start from there. Keeping DJ Stanton and Allen, yeah. I think that, Stanton and Judge, to my opinion, is you don't move one. You either move one of them or you move both of them. It doesn't make sense. You can't move Stanton because of his contract because you're going to sign Judge to a bigger one. And vice versa. It doesn't make sense. If you move one, you move both of them, you get a boatload in return, especially with their performance now. And you kind of become younger, more athletic and versatile, and less power reliant. But I don't see that happening either. I really don't. Moving both, no. It'd be nuts. I don't see them having the balls to do either one of those personally. Austin Romine here, he's free. I think he's with Texas, if I'm not mistaken. But I think he's a free agent this offseason. He's a little older, but he was. Yeah, I liked him here. I liked Austin Romine here. He was a gamer too, which I like, and that's what I mean. Like Sanchez doesn't always look like a gamer. It looks like it's just like on and off with him, and that's right. That's very frustrating. Maldonado, I wanted a couple years ago when he was a free agent, and he was Cole's catcher in Houston. He was great. Cole pitched really well. I was when he had 325 strikeouts last year. Maldonado was his guy, and I was hoping that offseason that they would get him, and they didn't, unfortunately. So I know he's a little bit older too, but if he's still solid, I mean, he was definitely a consideration, Ryan. Definitely. Successful stolen base. The only time I see it happens with Tyler Wade and guys like that. I mean, they need these guys, man, and that's the thing. Like Aaron, they don't have enough of them. But I would be causing chaos in the base pass with these guys, and then letting the power guys drive them in, letting the contact guys drive them in. Like, I think they would have scored so many more runs this year if they utilized those weapons more often. Well, that's the thing, yeah, Sheepdog. That's what I mean. Like Cashman's part of this like fraternity, which is why I don't see them moving him. It's just, and to me, that shows that they're not really serious about winning long term, and I don't like that feeling. I really don't. The shortstops will all be expensive. Peraza, I can see coming up next year. Miguel, Volpe not just yet, and until he's raking or playing really well, I think he's going to start in AAA and then go from there. Peraza's already in AAA and he's playing well, so I can see Peraza making it out of spring training, actually. But Volpe, I can see up next year. That's why I prefer Freeman daily. Keep shortstop second open. Well, that too. He keeps shortstop open for these guys, and that's an investment they don't have to make because those guys are going to cost more than Freeman would. So I totally get that logic. And Freeman's a good defensive first baseman, just like Rizzo is. So it gives these guys a chance to kind of get into their groove and find the way. And in the meantime, you have Andrew Velazquez, you have Gio, you can move it short. You have Tyler Wade. You have younger athletic guys that you can play at shortstop until one of those young stud players are ready. Okay, and I'm with you, Laurie. Exactly. Brett Gardner's older. It's time for him to move on and just say thank you, and thank you and good luck, Brett Gardner. As much as I like him, he can't be blocking young kids. It wouldn't be fair. He had a great second half of the year, but it's time. It's time to move on. Pappy said he's a starter. I don't know, Pappy, because I mean I get what you're saying about Severino. He got hurt as a starter, and they rushed him back as a starter too. He got hurt again. The bullpen, I see him. He's got one more year of this 4-year deal left, and if it doesn't work out as a starter, which I could see happen. Now, if they move him up to the starter, I hope it works out. I really do because he's got a live arm. But if he moves up and, if they keep him in the bullpen and he pitches really, really well, they have a really, really valuable bullpen like a Josh Hader that they could flip in a trade if they want for a bunch of pieces. And that's if you can get multiple pieces for Hader, you can get multiple pieces for Luis Severino. So, and stuff like that. And, I don't see him as the guy breaking his hand in a drunk celebration like Devin Williams did from the Brewers. So probably costing them a shot at the World Series this year, but you never know. Severino, to me, I think is better fit in the bullpen, but I get what you're saying, Pappy. Shortstop that can play second and third, and I mean that's where multiple position guys. I think moving DJ back to probably the utility guy would be a good idea if they're not going to play him at first base. If you bring in Freeman, then you move DJ all across the field, and a guy that can play. I mean, Tyler Wade plays multiple positions, and they have him already too. And Ketel Marte plays infield and outfield multiple positions, so they have guys that they can get or that they already have. Yeah, I think Rays use analytics better than the Yankees do. Word lifer. That's a great observation. It's a great point. Left-handed first baseman Daly won MVP last year. Plays good defense. Yeah, I mean Freeman to me is better than Rizzo. So I'm with you there, Daly. I'm with you there. He had a good year this year. He's a good overall player. He's an upgrade from Anthony Rizzo. He will cost more. He's probably going to cost 9 figures. But again, they're the same ages too. If you're going to bring in one of them, to me, Freeman is the upgrade, and I would get him over Rizzo. I liked Rizzo's time here, but Freeman I think would be an upgrade. But I could see the Braves being aggressive and keeping him. But if the price gets high, I could see him moving. I could. Because the Braves could also go for somebody like Chris Bryant this offseason too. Yeah, he's good, man. He's clutch offseason. He's clutch postseason, clutch regular season. He's got a perfect bat for Yankee Stadium, and he's a good contact hitter with power. He's got winning experience. He's got intangibles too. So, but I find it hard to see him leaving Atlanta. But I wouldn't mind seeing him in pinstripes at all. And but yeah, I mean, Daly makes good points. You all make good points. You really, really do. And yeah, that's what I mean. Like to me, Cashman is basically just towing the House Steinbrenner line here, and I don't think it's a good idea. So, James, what's happening, man? Wade Boggs as hitting coach would be phenomenal. Lori, thank you. I would be an upgrade over Gary Sanchez. Thank you. I actually I was a catcher, and I played high school baseball and outfield. And so I would not mind at all. But it's true. I take it as a little bit of a compliment. But I could see it as a knock on Sanchez as well. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to be really hard to upgrade from Sanchez. It really is not. We need a better hitting coach to bring a lot. I mean, if they're going to keep Gallo, we need a hitting coach who's going to bring more out of him. And Paul O'Neill would be an intriguing possibility. He was always mentally in the game. He's an absolute gamer, and if he's interested, I'd be calling that guy. Absolutely. Gerald Canley would knock in the fans. The fans aren't the problem. The fans that throw things at players like Alex Verdugo, those fans are the problem. But it's not. I mean, Yankees. You come here knowing that you come to New York and it's a zoo here, just like it is in Boston and Philadelphia and Chicago. You know you're going to be playing in a pressure cooker. So, there's a handful of fans that are indicative of the problem. Overall, you have to expect this stuff coming in. You have to be able to stay mentally in it and be prepared. The more prepared you are, the less you're going to have these lapses and be pounded by the fans. But it's their right to boo. But throwing stuff and making attacking your family, that's where I draw the line. There's no place for that stuff. None. Either side. Tucker, Barnhart, Chris Taylor. Interesting possibilities, Miguel. Interesting. Yeah, we do have exactly, Alan. We have a small group of guys eating up a chunk of the payroll. I would also, I wanted to trade from Castillo from the Reds last year. I mentioned him a lot recently. Gary for a half-eaten bagel and a few used baseball. Pretty much, Laurie. Pretty much. If Wade Boggs shows interested in hitting coach too, he'd be an upgrade over Tim's. So, Tim's helps certain guys, but overall, we need somebody who's going to help with a more diverse approach. And Thames didn't bring that to this team, unfortunately. So, Seager to play shortstop and then extend Rizzo to play first. And Stein, Charlie Marte. We should trade Chapman, Britton, Voigt, maybe Hicks to create some space to spend money. I think Seager's an intriguing possibility, but it depends on if they move Gleyber Torres, because then I would want another position to be opened up for a Volpe and for somebody like that too. But Seager's going to cost 8 to 10 years. He's going to cost a boatload of money. Rizzo's going to cost a lot of money too. Starling Marte is also going to be expensive. I don't see the need for him personally. I would more make a trade for a Ketel Marte or somebody like that. Be very aggressive and a multi-positional guy. But he's a good player, Starling Marte. He's a good player. Hicks, I think we have to establish that he's healthy first before we can move him. I really do. Crazy things have happened, but to me, that's what I think is going to happen. He's a Cashman guy. This is what I mean by moving Cashman kind of helps, I think, unlock some of the other areas where I feel like the franchise is shackled up right now and can't make moves. And that's where the intrigue of moving Cashman comes in. Moving on from Cashman. Realistic moves the Yankees do, Miguel, honestly. I see them bringing in a starting pitcher. I see them bringing in maybe two starters, one trade, one free agency. I see them bringing in one more reliever in free agency. Maybe a different catcher. I'd like it to be a filet mignon. I'm afraid it's going to be a rump roast off season. I hope it's between the two. So it's the best way I could put it. They're frustrating. They're really frustrating. Andrew Velasquez is inadequate, and so is Tyler Wade. Adequate shortstop. They're stopgaps. They're fast. They're athletic. They play with energy. And those guys, we need guys like that here. Corey Kluber, I think, is gone. I don't think he'll be back. I know there's a lot of ideas. I'm trying to keep up as best I can daily. I'm getting there. Maldonado did catch Cole. You're all making valid points and good ideas, sharing good ideas. I hope Volpe's not a problem. So, I hope he forces them to bring him up and to keep him here. I really do, and that's where their performance comes in. I hope he keeps progressing the way he's progressing. Wade Boggs would be fun. Wade Boggs is nuts too, but I like him. I always like Wade Boggs, especially when he came here. Stroman might be a wild card here too for like a non-sexy version of a starting pitcher. He's relatively durable too. So they might make Gardner a coach. Yeah, they could. He's the type of guy that I think would be a good coach. He's a leader. And again, I would have made him captain of the team in 2021, but unfortunately they did not. Gallo being here. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance they might move Gallo. Move Gallo to Colorado and just let him hit 40 home runs a year. Voit too. Move him to a place where they can just hit bombs everywhere. Move Voit to Detroit or Colorado and just let him, somewhere where they could just, be in a less pressure cooking environment and they can hopefully shine. Trading for Josh Hader is one of the moves that I've said the Yankees should do for a couple of years. My fear is that the Blue Jays are going to go after him this year and they're going to get him. That's my fear. So I hope that the Yankees are aggressive and they strike fast. Marte at center field would be. I mean, it's intriguing. He's talented, but I just hope he wouldn't be really expensive. If any of these moves, Lance, that you said, Olsen to me, making a trade for Matt Olsen would be the gold standard move for first base. That's what I would do too. I did a video about him not too long ago. Talked about him and Matt Chapman. Yeah. Oakland did almost draft Judge. I mean, Judge is here because the Yankees gave Nick Swisher a qualifying offer and he moved on. They got a draft pick. He was that draft pick that turned into him. So the long-term move, I agree. Also, Big Drake is the long-term move for the infield would be first base, which it doesn't block Volpe and guys like that. So, and if Volpe keeps kind of showing what he is, then he'd be a good guy to have. Didi, I think Didi might have one more year. I'm not exactly sure if he's a free agent or not. If he is, he's an intriguing possibility too. He was great here. I'm leery of reunions for guys because they generally don't work the second time when they come back here, at least for the Yankees. And Olsen is not enough for Judge. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to trade for Olsen, well, that would probably be. I mean, and Olsen has 2 more full years of control. Judge has 1, and they're both superstars. So I mean, I wonder if that would be an even swap. I mean, he's younger than Rizzo. He's younger than Freeman. If I was going to package a lot of prospects and even add somebody like Luke Voit to it, I would be sending him to Oakland for Matt Olson. If there's any way they can get Matt Olson, I would get Matt Olson without moving Volpe or Luis Hill. There's other guys they have that they can get. Like he's generally the big name to me that's more reliable and healthy and who, instead of just dumping free money into the biggest names all like they do sometimes. A lot of times they late on things too, so they get whatever's left in Yankees. That's the other problem part. But hire one of the Rays front office guys. I mean, if they would let them, yeah. And the Jays will be nuts next year. The Jays are going to be ridiculously good, and they're just going to keep adding to that young, dynamic team. And yeah, I mean, Didi was intriguing. O'Neill, Boggs, and some of these old Yankee gamers. I mean, even Don Mattingly, but I know he's managing the Mariners. I mean, the Marlins, or Hensley Bam Bam Mullins. He's an intriguing possibility too. He was runner-up to Boone before Boone signed here. In interviews, so he's another intriguing possibility. He's got championship pedigree with the Giants. So, Trade for Didi. I mean, a trade with the Phillies might work. Might work. Thomas, yeah, I mean, the Yankees have to decide this offseason. I would not sign Judge to a 10-year deal, personally. No way. No, but I have a feeling somebody will. And it's probably going to be not 8 or 10 years for probably like $300 million. I would not do it, but which is why the Yankees have to make a decision. You have to make your best offer to extend him this offseason. If he says no, you got to move him in a trade. You don't wait until the next season, you give him a qualifying offer, and then he moves on, and you just get a pick for him. There's no way. He's too valuable for that. So you have to make your best offer this offseason, no doubt about it. And you don't wait until next year, because then you're just going to wind up with nothing. And, Judge, like I said, Judge is way too valuable. So Jose Ramirez has intrigued me. I brought him up as one of my guys recently that to have my eye on. But the Indians are surprisingly, I think, accelerating their rebuild, so they might not move him. Jonah Posada, he'd be an interesting possibility for manager. Cohen would be an interesting one too. I really like him in the booth, but I think he's very smart. So is Posada. I mean, that whole generation of the Yankees, really smart, thoughtful, and they knew what they needed to do, and they're gamers and winners, and that was a special group of players. It really, really was. Trevor Story, I could see Trevor Story happening. I could. Tony Pena's an interesting. Yeah, I mean, he's worth interviewing, Tony Pena. He really is. Posada, I don't know what Posada's doing. I have no idea. Josh Smith and Ezekiel. yeah. We moved those guys for Gallo. Yeah, that's right. Pena, package deal for Bieber and Ramirez. That would cost G-Man. I like that. A trade for Shane Bieber and Jose Ramirez from Cleveland. That's going to cost a boatload. A ton. But if there's any way, I would look into it. I definitely would. I like that idea. Judge for 5 years with a team option for a 6th. If you can get him for that, I'd be all over it, Allen. But I have a feeling somebody's going to give him. Somebody's going to give him 8 to 9 or 10 years. Your rant on why did I miss it, Daly? Let me go back and take a look. It's been scrolling so fast. My apologies, Daly. Give it to me again. Give me some insight on Aaron Bummer. I know Daily Dose. He likes Aaron Bummer. He really wants him to come here. So give me some more insight here, man. I like hearing your insights. Jose Ramirez he's not free agent yet, James. He's got, I think, 2 more years, 1 or 2 more years left before he's a free agent. So I didn't have to acquire him in a trade. Judge did say he wants to be a Yankee. Yeah, I mean, but it's got to be. I mean, I think it's got to be somewhat reasonable because of the constraints that they already have payroll-wise. But the Yankees, my big motivation to get Marcus Simeone would be to take him away from Toronto. Corey, no doubt. Jason Dominguez, I mean, I don't see him up here until late 2023, early 2024. He's only 18. He needs time to develop. And I hope they develop him right, just like these other highly touted prospects. He could eventually replace Judge. I mean, he could be the center fielder of the future, although he might not be a center fielder. He might be a corner outfielder. He's a big guy. He might even be an infielder. We don't know. Depends on how his body progresses as he gets a little bit older, how he fills out. But he's thick. He's kind of like Mike Trout. If you look at his build, Trout is not that super tall, but he's thick and solid. So he reminds me of Trout in terms of body fill. But yeah, they need athletic guys. Man, that's why like Matt Olson's a good. That's why Ketel Marte, like Brian Reynolds, like those guys would be really, really great here. Just give us a lot of versatility. But Manny, I think is playing baseball in Australia, somewhere overseas. He's still playing. He's like 50 years old. He's still playing and hitting bums too. No. Posada, I could see Posada just taking a cheater too. Yep. Yeah, the season higher than Peralta's with bum running in the hands, exact opposite of Peralta. This pitch would be very well against the Red Sox because of how friendly the bat is. And that's a good argument for Bummer. I like left-handed killers too. And farewells against righties. So, I mean, Bummer's intriguing. I'm going to do more homework on Bummer daily. So, I should. And he seems to pitch well against both sides too. So, seems to be an upgrade from Wandy Peralta. Okay. You make a good argument, Daly. You do. You do make an argument. Trade possible might be Alex Vargas. Okay, I mean, it's a solid prospect to give up for him. But if you can get somebody like that, I could see that happening. 12th ranked prospect for the Yankees, and he's blocked by the other position players anyway. So, if they do sign Roderick Arias this offseason, he's the number one international prospect. That's just going to be another superstar prospect that's up the middle too. So, it makes sense. I mean, that's actually a good lineup for the trade, Daly. I like that. So he won't have a spot as a shortstop. Yeah, you're right about that. It's a good trade proposal. It's a good trade proposal. Gausman, I don't know. I'm leery of guys moving from the National League back to the American League. I'm leery of that. Generally, it doesn't always work, but he's possible. He's still young, Miguel. Freeman, I think, is an intriguing possibility. I mean, Olsen to me is the guy to get for first base. He's better than Freeman and Rizzo, but I don't know. Yeah, more evidence I'm not brainwashed into loving this trade yet. Bernie's another one. I don't see him being a coach though, but you never know. An instructor, yes. Pena manager, Randolph bench coach, Tino first base coach, Brocester. I mean, imagine bringing the championship Yankee squad back, Sheepdog, as a coaching squad would be phenomenal. Bauer, diversity and ethics coach. Yeah, I think he'd be, yeah. That's a good one, Christopher. That's a good one. Freeman. Still trying to find out why Sessa was trying. I think they were trying to just get under the $210 million threshold. I think that's their motivation there. They did bring up an intriguing starting pitching prospect in that trade. So they did acquire, So I hope that he develops and pans out. He's a young 23-year-old left-handed pitcher. So starting pitcher, would I sign, James? Robbie Ray would be Robbie Ray and or Carlos Rodon. Those would be the 1-2 guys. And then I would acquire one if they don't trade both. If they don't sign both. Daly, I'm ready, man. Let's get it. Give me that next trade, man. I like your trade proposals. I like good ideas here. And what else we have? Sessa was sacrificed as part of a package to move another. Yeah, exactly. And they moved. They had a Justin Wilson too. The motivation was to get under that $210 million. But I'm still not convinced that they're going to go be aggressive this offseason, which disappoints me, and I'm sure it disappoints a lot of other fans as well. So, what would the Yankees get for Olsen for the A's? What would they get for him? What would they give up for him? Well, they're going to have to give up 2 top 10 prospects and a major league piece as well, I think. Olsen's going to cost a ton. But he's the best first baseman to me in baseball. And on the left-handed side especially. So he would be perfect at Yankee Stadium on this roster, on this team, in this lineup. He would be perfect. If I could pick one shortstop for the next season, would it be Story, Simeone, or Seager? Of the 3, I go Story because of the cost. I go Simeone because of the short-term upside, and Seager obviously for the long-term guy. That'd be my logic behind it. Christopher, thank you. Dono from some Dono love and hype for Christopher Curtis. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for all your work this year. Let's go 2022. I'm going to continue working this whole entire offseason. We're gonna put together our plan for 2022 Yankees. So, but thank you, Christopher Curtis. Some love for Chris, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Holmes, yeah, Holmes is a get, man. He was a find here. He was a gold find, man. I like Holmes. I really, really do. To me, yeah. Boy, you give a lot of analytic info here. Trade to the Angels. What I missed here. Jose Marte. I'm going to look into Marte. I'm with you too, Lori. If there's an opportunity to move Gallo, I think it's going to happen at the trade deadline next year. He's going to have to play well for half the season, I think. But you never know. Somebody might want him as a bat, particularly if he's an elite defensive outfielder. So I could see it happen. He's a little bit of a head case on the plate, at least in New York. Thank you again, Christopher. You're the man, Christopher Curtis. Thank you. That Dono, man. Dono love, man. Dono love. Jose Marte. Sinker, same movement profiles as Clam. Gallo does put a punch of pressure on himself. That's why he's a little bit of a head case here, Lance. I think he's just pressing way too much here. He's way too hard on himself. It doesn't need to be. The crowd's already hard on him enough. So are a lot of us. So you're saying Daly, Marte, and Holmes would be a nice bullpen pairing here? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Give me some insight here. Clay Holmes, Tanner Houck, PJ Rod. Okay. Man, just when I'm like scrolling through it, then it goes up like 100. Right-handed batters. Marte. Clay Holmes better than Tanner Houck. If you traded for Jose Marte, you would have to give up a signature because he isn't ranked over the top 30 for the Angels. He could just be one of these underrated guys who could be a great fit here. Upside the sinker has. All right, I'll look into Jose Marte and Aaron Bummer a little bit more aggressively for you, Daly. DFA player to make us. Okay, I'll look into them. Clay Bellinger, Gerald. I don't know. He's had a really, really down year. I don't know. Like, I'm a little bearish on him. I'm less bullish on him than I am. But if anybody can resurrect himself, it would be Clay Bellinger, and he's still got youth on his side too. So, depends on what you'd have to give up for him, and I think it depends on what they do with Judge and Gallo and Stanton, or one of them, at least Gallo. Because if you bring in a Bellinger, then you're gonna have to move a guy. You're gonna have to do something. You have to move somebody. So, I think Gallo can. I think Gallo, with hard work, Gallo can improve. We need a better hitting coach to get more out of him. And thank you everybody for the Dono hype for Christopher too, man. If they can move Chapman, I mean, that would be Loizaga. I mean, there's other options. I mean, if they move Chapman, then I see him going to a West Coast team in the National League if he gets moved. But it's possible. It's possible. Loizaga could be a closer. I mean, that's why Severino could be a closer too. I'm really, really curious to see what they're going to do, man. Closer at the plate. Yeah, he did make some adjustments, PJ Rod. He does. He's just yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Thames was not the right hitting coach for Gallo. He wasn't the right hitting coach for a lot of these guys. But we do need structural change at top, man. Management, front office. I mean, we just need a coaching across the board. We need a new philosophy here, and we really, really do. So, and until that happens, I don't see them getting better. And even Michael Kay said that too. You can keep the same type of group of people in the same type of philosophy, they're not going to get better. And I agree with that. The other teams are going to leave us behind. And I said this this morning was Aaron Boone. He said the other day the other teams are closing a gap. No, they're not. They surpassed us and they've created a gap. We have to close the gap to them now. Okay? And that's the bottom line. So we have to close the gap to them. And the Yankees have moves that they need to make to do that. These guys are not going to be slowing down the Rays or the Blue Jays on the Red side. They're going to get better. So the Yankees have to keep up now. They're behind them. They're chasing now. Boone and Cashman back. I'm of the opinion. I agree with you, Lori. I think that's my fear. That's my fear. We have them both back. I don't see things getting much better because I don't see either one of them changing their philosophy. Chapman could be traded. I mean, and Chad was gassed at the end of this year. But I like Chad Green and Loizaga too. So you move Chapman, you bring in somebody like Racel Iglesias or somebody like that, or Michael Lorenzen from the Reds. They're both free agents. So and live arms. I see the logic, Daly. I mean, that's that type of stuff, that off-speed stuff, the sinker stuff, plays well at Yankee Stadium. So if you have a Marte and a Holmes in the bullpen, that's good. That's good addition to the bullpen right there. Justin Verlander to replace Kluber. I would be all over that if you can get him on a relatively reasonable salary. but instead of like a $20+ million deal, because you don't really know what you're going to get from him coming back from Tommy John. So I would have boatloads of incentives along the way. So yeah, that's what I mean. Clay did have a bad year. He batted like 160, Lori. That's why that's my hesitation to bring him here. But hey, I don't know. Thomas says Bummer will turn out like Zach. You think so? Sevy for the 7th and the 8th. I mean, you have Sevy. You have, if you bring in, a Marte, you bring in some of these other guys. You have Loizaga here. You have Green. You have enough Holmes. Like, you have enough bullets in the bullpen. You really, really do. But I agree Verlander can push Cole. He pushed Cole in Houston, and I said that before. You need a guy like that as an absolute gamer who can make Cole better. Because the starters on the team now don't make Cole better. He makes them better, not the other way around. It's immediate worse. His contract, 7.5 buyouts if he gets injured. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, sheepdog. Asking for the stuff. It's been Chapman for Olsen. It's going to cost more than a Aroldis Chapman to get Matt Olsen. A lot more. But I'm all about that. Rays blank the Red Sox. So the Rays, I'm not surprised, man. The Rays are my American League representative to get to the World Series. No doubt about it. I'm very confident in that. They're just way too good this year. Way too good, man. They really, really are. What else we got? How about a mid-road? We got a Marcel. Thank you so much for the dono, bro. Reference content players. Instead of re-signing Rizzo first base, how about signing Josh Bell, who switch hits? He's an intriguing possibility. 2 strikes out a lot, though. Did he sign a 1-year deal with the Nationals, Marcel? I liked Josh Bell too. I thought he would have been a good trade option from Pittsburgh before he went to the Nationals. I think he does switch hit. You're right. You're absolutely right. So he's an intriguing possibility too. And it's some dono hype and some dono love from Marcel, man. Thank you. He's another intriguing possibility. And if he's a free agent, he won't cost a ton. I just don't know he's a free agent. I need to check that out. I need to check if he's a free agent or not. So I definitely got to do. Frankie, what's good, man? Bring Massa back, trade Chapman, Sevy to be close. I could see Sevy being moved to the closer. If they move Chapman, I could see that. I need to swig of that. Mid-rotation guy with playoff experience. Yeah, I would be all about that, Ryan. One of those guys and another starter. I think they need to bring in 2 starters regardless of what happens. They need 2 reliable starters. And that's the key, reliable starters. Paul O'Neill is fiery like Lupinella. Paul O'Neill he's such a gamer. Dono hype, man. Yep. Dono love from Marcel, man. Thank you, Daly. Daly's always backing me up with the Dono hype, man. I appreciate you, man. And Daly makes some really, really good trade proposals as well. Really, really good trade proposals, actually. I'm adding this to my notebook. So my baseball brainiac notebook here. Aaron Bummer and Jose Marte. Okay, this is my daily dose research book here. I like Marcel. I like that idea, Josh Bell. It's intriguing. He's a free agent next year. Yeah, I see. That was my fear too, Daly. I thought he signed a 2-year deal with the Nationals and not a 1-year deal. Yankees do have a 2-year habit. 2018 Stanton, 2020 Cole, 2022 who'll it be? My guess is it's going to be Robbie Ray. If they make one move, it's probably going to be Robbie Ray. Chapman and Hicks for Olsen. It's going to cost more than that. If they're going to take Hicks and Chapman off our hands, we're going to have to give them probably Oswald Peraza or something like that. You're going to have to give them a top prospect for them to take 2 contracts for Olsen. It's going to have to be palatable for Oakland at Keo. But I like where you're headed, man. Tatis. Tatis would be phenomenal, Thomas. Let's get Tatis and Vlad Jr. Then I'd be happy. No, they're well thought out, Daly, man. You have good proposals. All you guys and gals have good ideas. I like the ideas. They're all welcome here, and that's what I like. Padres are going to do with Manny. And I think Manny's he's there to stay long term, Thomas. The Padres. Voit, I see him being moved or DFA'd this offseason, Griminator. I don't see Voit coming back. I'd be surprised if he came back. I would be. And if he does come back, I don't see Rizzo coming back. Yes, you did, Daly. You're in here. You're in here. Exactly. I would say we need more contact hitters, more reliable, just guys that can do the things that the Red Sox did to them. Spray the ball all over the field. They hit home runs, but they had key base hits, bunted guys over, did all different types of stuff. And the Yankees did not do these things. That's what we need. So it balances out the lineup. Stanton and Judge, now that their value is high. Dude, I mean, if I could trade Stanton and Judge this offseason, and I'll probably get killed for it, my people, I would. I like them both, and I like Stanton more than Judge personally, but I've always liked Stanton, but I like both of them a lot. But if they ever had the opportunity to move that contract and the next potential contract off the books and get a ton of young athletic guys here in return, I would jump on it in a heartbeat. I personally cannot see it happening unless the NL adopts DH for somebody like Stanton. But I mean, it's very, very intriguing. It's something that James, yeah, thank you, man. Daily Dose and I smarter than the whole Yankees organization. I appreciate it, bro. Daily, that's why and just to finish my comment to Jose, that's the only way I see it happening is if the NL adopts a DH or even being thought about. But I can't see the Yankees having the balls to do it. That's my problem too. Rodon does have. I think he's got more talent and upside than Ray, but I think Ray's probably going to be the better investment. But that said, Daily, I would like them to get both. Get both of them here. I'd be happy. Robbie Ray, but in Arizona, yeah, he turned it around here in Toronto. I mean, Toronto but he was frustrating in Arizona, very inconsistent. Matt Chapman, he's another one. He's got 2 years of team control like Olsen. So to replace Gio, he's an upgrade over Gio, but I wouldn't be offended if Gio stays. I wouldn't. And I do think Voigt's traded this offseason. I agree with you. Trevor Story, he's probably going to wind up being the guy that if they invest in shortstop, that because he's athletic too, so he's a guy that could move to second, and which allows them to move Torres and then bring in an Oswald Peraza until Volpe's ready, or something like that. So I could see that happening. I mean, he's a gamer. I like him. He's always dirty in his uniform. He makes good athletic plays. He's smart too. So I like Trevor Story too. Yeah, Griminator. I mean, I don't like the idea of DFAing Voit. I just don't know who would be willing to trade for him right now. I mean, I hope somebody trades him because of his potential bat. He just needs to stay healthy. He needs to stay healthy. But Reds right fielder to replace Judge. Who's their right fielder? Not Gallo, is it? Christopher Curtis again, bro. Dono love for Christopher Curtis, man. You're the man, dude. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the Dono again, man. Thank you. 2022, we'll be back. Cash, Cora, Altuve can eternally kiss my. I'm right with you there, bro. Stanton, handsome Muppet. Bichette, ugly Muppet. Seriously, do a split screen. How do I get this turtle tat removed? That's genius, bro. Genius. It's the comment of the night right there, Christopher, man. Thank you for the dono again, man. That's the comment of the night. I'm shouting you out tomorrow. I'm definitely shouting you out tomorrow, man. That's awesome. Oh, my God. Cashman and Billy Bean are close. Yeah, we just got to get Cashman out of the GM spot, I think. He's right now president of operations and GM, so he's got multiple spots right now. Ray, Rodon, and Freeman this offseason might well. That would be a monster offseason, Daly. A monster offseason. Again, Christopher Curtis, you're the man, dude. Thank you. You're the man, bro. Don't know hype and don't know love. Dude, that's the comment of it. That's the comment of the month, man. That's awesome, dude. I love it. Shout out to Christopher Curtis, man. Shout out to Chris Curtis. Yeah, Torres trade value is not super high either, but I think he can fetch more back than Luke Voigt can. Um, it depends, Kevin. See what I see happen with Gallo. It depends on who they bring in for hitting coach. If they move on from Thames, I could see him being moved. Or then again, I could see him staying here, and if he plays really well, being moved at the trading deadline next year and getting some pieces back. If he plays well, his trade value will be higher at the deadline. So that's kind of the sequence I see. But if they keep him, I could see a lot of home runs, a lot of strikeouts, same kind of thing. But I think he'll get a better start. He will have adjusted to being a Yankee and getting a full start to the year. I think would be better for him. Boggs is hitting coach. I would love, and he's nuts. But he's back for 2022, and then he's a free agent. Lala, that's right. Dominguez, Marte, and Gill for Matt Chapman and a rotation pitcher. Incel revolution. I don't see Dominguez being moved for anybody. And Hill, I don't know. That'd be a hell of a package for Matt Chapman. You're gonna need Matt Chapman, a pitcher, and Olsen for the Yankees to talk about that one. Yeah, Jane, it's a greatest comment, man. That's an aggressive package, and so I just don't see the Yankees moving Jason Dominguez. But who knows? He's got to keep progressing for him to remain untouchable. He's got to keep improving, just like Volpe. Volpe's ahead of Jason right now, though. Trade Torres, move DJ to first to get a shortstop, and then move Voit. What if you trade Torres, move DJ to first, Thomas, and then you bring in Story for second? You move Oswald Peraza to shortstop for now. See how that works with Gio at third. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I don't want to, because if they move on from Rizzo, and that's one less left-handed bat, I think they need to bring in another left-handed bat of some kind. So I have a switch hitting infielder would be a good idea. I brought up Eduardo Escobar a couple of days ago. He's in the National League. He got traded from I think the backs to the Brewers, and he's a switch hitter, and he's got some decent pop, and he's a good contact hitter for an infield. Plays multiple infield positions, so I would look at him. Judge and a few prospects for Olsen, and replace Judge with the Reds from Greek fella. Oh, that guy. I know what you're talking about. I don't think you'll have to add prospects to Judge to get Olsen. I just don't see the A's taking Judge and then giving him $250 million because they never signed their players long term. They're not going to extend Olsen. They're not going to extend Chapman. So I just don't see them giving Judge that type of money. I could see the Angels giving Judge that money, or the Mariners giving Judge that money. Nick Castellano. He has an opt out, but I don't know if he's going to opt out or not. I wonder if he's going to opt out. He's solid though. He's a solid player. He's intriguing, Lance. A lot of these ideas are really doable. A lot of them are. And I like some of the out of the box, just the crazy ones too. So Florial's good enough to start. I don't know, because he hasn't had enough opportunity. Like Miguel Andujar, once he had the potential and he started, and then he kept getting hurt. So I think he should be given a chance as the fourth outfielder, or the fourth and fifth outfielder, him and Tim LeCastro. Those guys, or Greg Allen. I don't want to sleep on Greg Allen either. I don't want to just discount him. Allen and Florial. They have a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed here. And Florial, I like Florial. So I hope he gets an opportunity. So I really do. And this is the problem. The Yankees don't give these young guys enough opportunity. If somebody gets hurt, they'll move them up, and then all of a sudden they send them away, or they send them back down. And these starters haven't even had any rehab starts, and it drives me nuts. And then you have guys that were hitting 300 sent back down for a guy that's going to come up and hit 200. These are the flaws that I'm talking about with the Yankees. They need to do much better in that regard. Toronto doesn't hesitate to send up their young guys. Neither does San Diego. None of these other teams. Boston, they let the young kids play and they let them adapt. And they, more often than not, Tampa Bay, more often than not, they turn out really well. So Matsui to work with Gallo. Yeah, I think he should come in as an spring training instructor. And some of these other guys, Paul O'Neill, I think some great suggestions at spring training instructors. And I think they need a better hitting coach to work with guys like Gallo. So I think he could play really well if he gets out of his own head. Story or Simeone, who would I rather have? Simeone for the stats, but Story for the price. I don't think Story will cost as much as Simeone. If I had to choose between the two, I'd probably go with Story, only because of his ability to play second base as well. But then again, Simeone can do that too. I just think Simeone's going to cost more than Story. Lance, you're welcome on, man. Anytime. I like seeing these ideas, so keep coming on these live streams and keep sharing your ideas. I like these ideas, man. It's intriguing, man. You know, I mean, Gio had a little bit of a down year hitting Thomas, but he does have an elite defensive glove, so I could see his bat improving next year as he gets healthier. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to invest in a position player, if it's big money, I agree with Daily Dose. It's going to be for first base. I do think there's a possibility. If any of those shortstop guys can get a short-term deal, it's probably Trevor Story. But then again, he might not. Replace Gary Sanchez with anyone else named Gary. Big Drake, Gary Busey, Gary Payton, and Gary. Yeah. Could you imagine Gary Busey drunk behind the plate? I met him at a Monster Mania horror convention, and they had a Predator reunion of with him. I met him and Danny Glover, and he was pissed drunk when I met him, Gary Busey, and I have a photo of us here. I'm trying to find it so I could show you. Actually, he was drunk when I met him, and Danny Glover was really, really cool, but Busey, he was just like, I couldn't believe I was there with the guy. I'm like, I can't believe this guy's drunk right now. I really can't. And I'm trying. I can't find the photo now. I don't want to take too much time either. So I'll have it ready for the next live stream. Like my Gary Busey picture. Castellanos. I mean, Gerald. Yeah. I mean, there's a chance he can opt out. Castellanos. He did have a good year. Gary Sanchez for Ron Jeremy. Jeremy's about to go to prison for maybe for life. There's I don't know, 50 sexual assault cases about to come. He's about to be indicted for on 50 counts, which is crazy. These people, man. This may be politically incorrect. Backlash. Trevor Bauer was released by the Dodgers. Would you take a flyer on him, assuming he's reinstated? I don't know. Marcel. I don't think they want that drama here. Talent-wise, yes. Drama, no. Incel, I don't see the Yankees trading for Paul Goldschmidt. The Cardinals gave up a lot for him. I don't see them moving him. I'd be shocked, I should say. Trade Torres, sign Rizzo or Freeman, bring up Volpe. It's an interesting question, Marcel. It really is an interesting question. Yeah, and he hasn't pitched in 2/3 of the year. Too. His arm is fresh, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't pick him over a Rodon or a Ray. I would not do that. You can get Kyle. Oh, Kyle Seager's a free agent too from Seattle, right? He's older, but he's still got some value too. Yankees trading Voit. Yeah, I do think Raw. I think they do trade Voit. I do. Yep. Freeman, Ray, Gausman, LeMahieu play third. Urshela, short, Glaber second. If they don't move Glaber, he's got to stay at second. Judge and center with Gallo on left and Stanton and right and left Voit DH. I mean, it's definitely possible too, Lala. I mean, I think Voit would have been the better fit at DH this year to keep his bat. He's better when he's consistent, but he just got hurt too much this year. Judge, Oswald Peraza, and Luis Medina for Juan Soto. That's oh my God. Personally, I would do that. Soto would be crazy. Trevor Bauer made a return out of nowhere. Yeah, Bauer's nuts. Raw. Bauer's nuts. He really is. And I do think Verlander can help Cole. So I hope they take a flyer on him if the price is right. But I agree, Bauer might not be a fit here. It's just Yankees are too stiff and corporate a team. I can't see his antics being welcome here. And Cole can't stand him. They were teammates together at UCLA. And he was a dick in UCLA, Bauer. So, I would agree. He needs a sticky stuff too. Yeah. handing second base to Oswaldo Cabrera. It's possible, but they're going to have to move on from Gleyber Torres. So, and depending on what they can get for him, got to get pitching if you're going to trade him. Verlander for 1 year. That's what I would do. Verlander 1 year for an option. Jesus, the King Chavez. Thank you, man, for the dono hype and dono love for Jesus Chavez, the King. Trade Gallo, sign Rizzo. Let's go Yankees. I would not be offended if they did those things. Gallo, I mean, Gallo can be moved. His stats are legit. It just strikes out way too much. Rizzo, I mean, he's going to be expensive, but I would not be offended at all if he came back. I wouldn't. He's a gamer, and he's got championship pedigree, man. I like him. But dono love, man, for Jesus, the King. Chav, we got to get you a crown, bro. You're the man. You are the man. Soto on the Yankees would be nuts. Absolutely nuts. But, so I'm going to wrap this up. We're going on 75 minutes here. So I want to do a part 2 to this. So either tomorrow night or the next night, let's do a continuation of this live stream so we can keep this going. Get your ideas ready. We're going to piggyback on it. I'm going to have some more for you too. And daily, I'm going to have some insights on Bummer and Marte for you. Trade Gilwell's value is high. His advanced stats are bad. Depends on what they can get for Luis Hill, but it's worth looking into. Matt Olsen would be the guy I would move him for. Olsen or Juan Soto, but Juan Soto's probably going to get $500 million from the Nationals. So now that Scherzer's off the books and whatnot, but let's enjoy the night. Let's do this. Let's do a part 2. Let's keep this rolling, and we're going to blow this up. We're going to have our master plan for the Yankees this offseason. So enjoy your night, everybody. Thank you so much for the donos. You're the best. Over and out. Talk to you then.